I am the motographer, photographer, a long-distance motorcyclist, and an entrepreneur. And I'm trying to build an exciting living and working space bringing together my love for motorcycling, gadgets, and technology. A place unlike no other in India. This is the MotoVilla.
Guys, welcome to another episode here of Building of the MotoVilla. And right now I am extremely excited because behind these doors, in fact this door, this is the Moto Cave, by the way, as you can see, is something which is pretty mind-blowing if you are a gadget freak. Even if you're not a gadget freak, doesn't matter. So let's go inside and see what is that we are going to put today in the MotoVilla. And welcome to the Moto Cave, by the way. Right now I'm surrounded by 3 televisions which are world-class, mind-blowing, mind-boggling, incredible. I mean, I don't know what words should I use, but it's like a dream come true to have these kind of televisions. I mean, you know, you've always dreamt of having a big screen. And I mean, let's start with screens. You know, it's all about screens, isn't it? Like from the console of the motorcycle, for example, this is the C900 here. This is the only bike which is here right now. Otherwise, there are a lot of other bikes in the MotoVilla. And the console is what tells you the speed. Even the monitors here, they tell you what you're doing. So of course, the most important thing, anything related to gadgets or digital, is the screen. So today we have 3 LG TVs that we have zeroed upon after a lot of research basis on what we wanted, the application especially here in MotoVilla. So in case you don't know what the MotoVilla is, you can check out a few links in the description below. But let me now get down to this. See, one of the most important things that we had to choose in the MotoVilla was the screen, because you know, it's without screens, I mean, it's just not complete. Now we have 2 kind of screens at the MotoVilla. One are the projector screens, in fact the projectors, and the other kind of screens that we are going to have here are the televisions. But there is one more kind of screen, of course, that you can see behind me, the monitors. We are sorted in the monitors department, we are sorted in the projectors department. Now we're finally also sorted in the television department. But it was a long road to finalizing these televisions and getting them to the MotoVilla. Now the MotoVilla is spread over 4,000 square feet and around 9 rooms, and each room has a specific purpose. For example, this room here, this is called the Moto Cave, as you can see here. Now this place is basically full of collectibles like this 6-feet Iron Man, and real motorcycles are going to be kept here. For example, the world's fastest bike, the Ninja H2, the world's largest capacity motorcycle, the Rocket 3, and so on and so forth. And amongst other than that, you know, there are a lot of scale models and stuff that you can see here. Now, the other rooms which are there are the Moto Kitchen, the Moto Lawn, the Moto Den, Moto Pod, Moto Arcade, Moto Study, Moto Theatre, Moto Lounge, Moto Gym. Lot of moto, because we are all about motorcycles, and motorcycles are our better halves because we are bikers. And that's why you can see I'm suited for the occasion, because it's kind of a uniform here, you know. I mean, this is a special occasion, and when we are getting so many good gadgets, you know, to unbox it I need to be dressed, and of course you need to be dressed for the ride as well. But we are going to go for a ride probably after this. So now, why there are 3 TVs here? Because we have chosen 3 rooms in the MotoVilla in which the TVs will go. Let's start with the biggest TV here, the LG NanoCell 75 inches of goodness here. This will go in a room which we call the Moto Arcade, and by the name you know that it is for gaming. Now every room here also has the option of a person sleeping, relaxing. It's not only meant for example, gaming. And that's why you will see a sofa cum bed in every room like this. And this is, I'll tell you, extremely comfortable. And by the way, this is from Sleepyhead, to shout out to them. Now, the other rooms which are there for the other 2 TVs, Now let me go to the next smallest TV here, which is the LG OLED Evo 65G1. 65 inches of goodness, and this is for a room called the Motopod. Now we'll go to the Motopod in a while and you'll see that it is basically a living space, sleeping space, kind of the master bedroom, but with a lot of tech, relevant tech. So this will actually go over there. Now the smallest of TVs here is the LG OLED C1. Now this television here is meant for this room right over here. If you see, we have this setup, so we call this the motor station here. So there is a motor station in every room, well, almost. Now this already has, as you can see, a 3 monitor setup, 3 curved monitors. Each monitor is 32 inches, but we also wanted one big screen which would be good enough for a monitor to go over here, and that's why we have just made this wall which will actually host the TV over here. The 55 LG C1 is going to go here, and there is one very good reason why I actually chose the LG C1. In fact, there is very good reason why I actually chose either one of the televisions here. Technical reasons. Now, as you know, that there are a lot of confusing tech in televisions like OLED, QLED, WLED. Oh my god, it's like pretty confusing right from the days of the CRT all the way to the QLED right now, which is quantum LED. I don't know what they will come up with. The jargon is like completely, absolutely confusing. In the end, like all the motorcycles, even the Z900 here, or the Ninja H2, or even the Pulsar 250, for example, any motorcycle is very well engineered, and it will, no matter what you buy, unless until it's suiting your purpose, as long as it's suiting your purpose, it is a good motorcycle. Similarly with televisions, there is nothing as called a bad television. You just have to do your research. Now see, the primary function, the common function of all these televisions that I wanted has to be one thing, and that is, of course, it should be good, it should look good. And gaming, if a television can do good gaming, it means that probably it can do most of the things quite well, because gaming requires low input lag, fast refresh rate, good colors, and of course it requires a big screen also. So big screen is obviously sorted. Now here is how I actually selected the monitors. I started with the size. For gaming, I wanted the biggest size. Now that's why we went with the 75 inches. Anything above 75 inches, my friends, is going to be a bomb. Like, in fact, even this costed a bomb, but anything above this is exponentially almost going to put a dent in your wallet. Now, if you want to approach that 75 inches and above screen size, you are probably better off with a projector. A gaming projector will actually cost you lesser than this, and it will actually project a 200 inches screen in 4K. It is that good, yeah. But if you want the advantages of a television, see, there are advantages and disadvantages of any kind of technology. So according to me, the advantages of having, let's say, a projector is that it's relatively smaller in size than a TV. Of course, less of bulk. You can probably pack it in a suitcase and take it wherever you want, and it doesn't cost really a bomb. All you need is a big place, and it will project that amount of size. And most projectors, they do 100-120 inches easily. Now the disadvantage of a projector is very obvious. You need a decently dim room. It should not be very bright, although there are some projectors which are very bright, like 3000 lumens and more, but there are very far apart and few. The other disadvantage with a projector is probably the startup time. It takes a lot of time to start up compared to a television. The other thing might be mounting. There cannot be anything between you and the projector, but there are a lot of other projectors which are coming up, and one of them is in the MotoVilla, in which you are actually practically as close to as the wall as possible, like maybe a foot or so, and it will project 120 inches of screen size on the wall. Now, the advantages of a television is that it starts up almost immediately, and then um, noise. So a television has almost no noise. In fact, does not have any noise of a fan. A good projector, a big projector, will get heated up pretty fast, and the fan will definitely, it might put you off, but unless until you're gaming, you're listening to loud volumes, I don't think that it will affect too much. So that is the disadvantage, another of a projector, which actually is an advantage of a television. Now, there is one more thing which I want to touch here, is that some televisions might not be that good in handling reflections, which projectors are, because if you have a good wall, in a matte wall, there will be no reflections. And if you have something called the ambient light rejection screen, which we have in this villa for a projector, it will be even brighter. So it all comes down to what you actually want. There is nothing called a bad TV or a bad projector. But definitely now, this one, like I said, is there for the Moto Arcade, because you'll know when we go over there. All right. Next, the 65G1 is basically, the G series is from the series called the Gallery Design. So basically, this is meant to be mounted on the wall, flush with the wall, like as close to the wall as possible, like a painting. And it's almost bezel-less. So you might be actually fooled in thinking, if it has the correct amount of brightness, that this is actually a painting hung on a wall and not a television. Yes, it is that good. And this is the only television, if I'm not wrong, which has got a wall mount already shipped inside the box. So that is another thing which I actually came to know. Now, this one is going to also be used for gaming and occasional working on the computer from the Motopod. This one here, the 55, I did my research online. I typed in which is the best OLED television which can double up as a monitor, to work as a monitor. The name of this came up more often than I would have thought. So 55C1, in fact the C1 is one of the best televisions you can buy, which can work as a monitor. Imagine this over here. Now I will be working on Adobe Premiere, Photoshop, and maybe some songs here. And on over here, the Premiere timeline is over here, and over here I will see the monitor, the viewport of my video. And if my friends come over, if I want to have a meeting right over here, I don't want them to look on just one small part of the curved screen. In fact, they will look over here. If I want to play games here, I will use this monitor. So this monitor has got a lot of use case scenarios here, and the best thing is it's going to look like a spaceship control room. Can you imagine? I can't wait to be hoisted over there. I might want to touch one small issue here, which OLED televisions are probably known for. So OLED is basically a relatively new technology. I think it came around 2012, 2010. They are actually prone to burns. So basically, if you leave a static image, it will keep basically, focusing the light rays, just in a layman language, in one place, and it will burn that particular image over there. And that's the reason why you used to have screensavers on when you used to have the monitors earlier, even now the computer monitors, so that the screen does not burn because of the taskbar. So if you want to avoid screen burns, if you're using an OLED monitor, television as a monitor, don't have taskbar open and don't have a static image all the time over there. It will be good as long as you are using it for videos, editing videos or photos and stuff like that. It is not bad at all. It's not like you will keep an image open for 10-15 minutes or even half an hour, 1 hour, it will burn. But just be careful with that. It is advised. It is getting better every day. The newer OLEDs, in fact, they have a life of around 100,000 hours. The earlier ones, they only had life of around couple of thousand hours. So OLEDs have come a long way. Now, I did my research. I'm not an expert in televisions or tech. I love tech, but I'm not an expert. I don't do unboxings. But when I did my research, I found that the OLED has the best contrast ratio, because it's basically not backlit. Each pixel or each module can be switched completely off or on, and it emits light from inside. Like, it does not depend on a backlight, unlike the LCD and LED TVs do. So basically, you will get that perfect black because it can switch itself completely off. So theoretically, if I'm not wrong, all you tech purists, you can correct me. The OLED has got a infinite contrast ratio as compared to your LCDs or LEDs and QLEDs of the world. And the clarity is amazing. Can you imagine staring at a screen which completely switches off in one part but is bright in another part? That is going to be amazing. I have never seen a QLED. I've never actually worked with a QLED or seen a movie on a QLED. Just when I went to do some shopping, the window shopping or TV shopping in the mall, and that is when I saw the QLED for the first time for like maybe 10-15 seconds, and I was sold mostly because of the reviews online. So I am very interested in seeing how this pans out. This particular episode, it was essentially to introduce you to these three beautiful televisions, and in the next episode I'll probably show you these televisions being unboxed and being mounted in the three places that I was actually talking about. So I hope that you, whatever televisions you choose, I hope you love it. That's it. Unless until we have proper VR kind of Oculus Rift stuff, where you can just wear it and it will be an infinitely big screen. We really appreciate the fact that companies are pushing the limits to make televisions even bigger. In fact, if I'm not wrong, as of 2022, the biggest television, OLED television, I think you can get is 92 inches, but that costs, like, I can get a proper superbike in that, I think. So guys, I've tried to keep this particular video very simple. I've not actually talked about the technical aspects of the televisions, but wait for it. I will do that in the next episode. But for now, let me actually sink in this beautiful vista in front of me and dream of how it will be to play and watch movies on these beautiful televisions.
In 2002, I found xbhp.com, which became India's most popular motorcycling platform and community, and then a print magazine as well. Since 2006, I have been riding around the world on choicest of bikes and sometimes cars too. Along the way, I picked up the bug for collecting stuff after the end of every ride that I did. This led to the building of XBHP headquarters, which also showcased my collection, and eventually the place itself became quite interesting, with a lot of people coming to visit and shoot it, even though it was a very small place. But as we know, places become big with the ideas they give birth to. Finally, in 2021, we decided to try and build a space which would not only serve as the XBHP headquarters, but also it will be an experience and space unlike anything else in India so far. A man cave, a living space, a working space, a gaming space, showcase of our collection, and integrating some of the best gadgets and lots more. And we call this the MotoVilla.